Alright, cool. So we're back again. We're back again. Today we got another video there of 50 Cents. I think this is an old interview he did ages ago with BBC actually. And essentially, I think this was right after he wrote his book. And he's just essentially talking about the concept of fear and what it can do, what it can do to work for somebody and what it can do to work against somebody. But yeah, I'm not gonna do too much talking. This one should be interesting. This was not even 7 years ago, 14 years ago actually. So yeah, let's just get straight into this one. But bang.
The book is really about fear and
Right,
overcoming fear, isn't
right.
it? And I just keep thinking fear can be quite good. You know, I don't want to stop. I don't want to stop myself doing silly things.
You can have a slight paranoia that helps you be aware of situations. And even in the 48 Laws of Power that Robert wrote, there's some things in there that you might feel like are evil. But
It's funny, 23 seconds in, and he's already touched on the 48 laws of power. And you know what's actually mad? I actually read that book actually, and as popular as the book is, yeah, the book, a lot of people don't get is that the book doesn't really take into consideration morals. The book is just basically strategy and what people have done historically in order to get ahead. But it has absolutely no space, no room for morals at all. So, like, when a lot of people read that book, I know when I read that book at first, I was like, whoa, yeah, because some of the things it was recommending was mad. But there's no harm in knowing about these strategies so that you can obviously, when you see someone else utilizing these strategies, you can be a step ahead, you know?
you need to be aware of them because someone else's intentions might be very well what that law of power is.
Yeah, you need to be aware of it. Like,
So like when I got a chance to talk to him, we even brought it down to the perspective of a person that's in a staff meeting that won't is watching someone else raise their hand to answer a question that they know the answer to. And that means that person deserves to be ahead of you in life because your fear of being wrong at that point is not allowing you to create your value in the workspace.
no fear of failure.
The book is really based and recounts your experiences of hustling and selling drugs in Southside Queens. Uh, and you can draw lessons for business in
The
the
50,
staff room from that really
I
completely
never read
different
that
world.
book.
The the boss in the neighborhood doesn't see killing someone as rule. It doesn't rule killing someone out as an option to expand business. When in corporate America, I've interacted with people that absolutely have intentions of killing the competition
Damn.
in a different way.
It's just not literally killing.
Right.
It's yeah. Have you overcome fear? I mean, you were shot 9 times in the year 2000. In terms of dealing with fear, I suppose you're not scared of anything after that.
Well,
Yo, getting shot 9 times is crazy. Like, I actually wonder what 50 Cent actually had to have done to get shot 9 times. Because 9 times, like, this guy wanted your brains on the curb. Like, he wanted you done. That means this guy must have really been doing some crazy shit in the streets, you know. But hey,
you're in
let me not do
life-threatening
too much.
situations, it makes you a little more conscious of death. And the more that you are aware of your fate, the higher the probability you have a chance to live. So you're a little more free. Like I go into what Robert kind of identified as the core of my power is me being in business situations and being the person with the least fear at the table. And that's because I weigh these things up against my biggest losses in my life. So like the loss of my mom is the biggest thing that I've experienced. So
That's an interesting, like, that's a very interesting outlook on it. Because he's the one that's sitting at the table with the least to lose, he almost feels like, hey, I can go out and say whatever I want to say at this table because he's a millionaire, he has all this to lose, he's a billionaire, he has that. I'm just starting. So technically, like, my fall from where I am to zero is a shorter fall than these millionaires and billionaires who are obviously all the way up here, and their fall to zero would be immaculate. So that's very interesting. Then he leveraged that, and he also said that, like, obviously the loss of his mom like had him feeling like I have nothing to lose. And I feel like a lot of people can relate to that though. You ever just go into a situation and you just feel like, you know what? What's the worst that can happen? I'm coming in here with nothing. The worst case scenario, I leave here with nothing. But the thing is, that type of mindset, if you can flip that and use it to your advantage, you can be really, really dangerous. And I mean dangerous in a competitive way. Like you're going to be a very dangerous competitor walking into any situation, any scenario with the thought in your mind that, all right, cool, what's the worst that can happen? I have nothing to lose.
Walking into a room, even at the worst possible scenario, it won't damage me to the point or hurt
Yeah.
as much as that hurt it. So I'll go in there in a secure
You
space.
got nothing to
You're
lose.
able
He's
to
a
speak
dangerous
and ask the
man.
questions. And I'd rather feel like I'm unaware for the moment within those quarters than to feel like I'm unaware in a losing situation.
I mean, the book does describe some fairly nasty incidents. I mean, just in a chapter about the Hustler King, you slash the face of a rival's assistant who's out to
Um,
hurt you.
Yeah.
I mean, looking back on all of that, I mean, how do you sort of feel? Because you've just moved so far away from that now.
Yeah, I did. But, like, I think the things you go through make you who you are. I
man
don't
went from
regret them.
slashing people's face to selling
I don't
books.
regret them because I don't think I'd be
Talk
who
about
I am today
progression.
if I wasn't exposed to those situations. If you ask me, those are unfortunate situations that I've had to experience. And if I had a choice, I would have definitely went in a different direction. I might have wanted to go to school for business instead of having to go through this portion of my
It was
life.
a
But
tough lesson, yeah.
yeah, but under those circumstances, when you're in an environment where you meet aggression with aggression, or you're deemed weak, and the weak becomes the prey, you
You're be
gotta
eaten.
kind of back people off of you at different points.
And it really felt like that in that.
Literally,
Yeah.
yeah. And when you're willing to go as far as further than the other guy, you always prevail. You always end up on top. It's like the kid in the schoolyard that doesn't want to fight always leaves with a black eye, because as soon as the other kid identifies he doesn't want to fight, he hits him.
But this is back to the negative view of human beings.
Yeah, like
I mean, I never wanted to fight, but kids. Actually, I did get hit at school a little
Yeah,
bit.
he
Not very
definitely
much.
got
but
No,
when
not
bullied in
they
very
say
much.
school.
no, I really don't want to do this. Pop, that's when you get hit. You just
He
gave the
got
other
bullied. This
the
interviewer
other
definitely got
guy
bullied in
enough
school.
confidence to hit you at that point. Especially when there's a bunch of kids behind him jumping up and down saying, "Whoop him." Like those experiences from when I was really small, I identify with that. So I ain't never been in a space or those situations where, even if I didn't want to fight, I didn't show 'em.
And then let's talk about the world of rap, which is a bizarre world, obviously, hip hop. I have to ask you why you have all these beefs with people. You just get into
It's the position.
arguments with people all the time, feuds.
I
What's
end
going
up in
on?
these. The competitive nature of hip hop has always been.
It's funny because as I'm actually reacting to this, obviously we have the whole P Diddy situation. Like I know everybody would know about that, and obviously him and P Diddy have been going back and forth constantly. Um, sorry, they haven't been going back and forth, but sorry, ever since P Diddy's arrest, 50 Cent has been trolling him all over social media, and there's all these old videos coming out, and people are saying this and that. Yeah, 50's always involved in something.
One of the driving forces, one of the elements in the art form that keeps it thriving. The youthful audience that's attracted to it has a low attention span, so it's always out with the old and with the new, as far as they're concerned. So the guy that comes into hip hop music, while we continuously use metaphors for things, I'll use the metaphor of a fighter. Fighter will go into the actual gym, day two, his coach is calling him champ. Because he weighs 154 pounds, he's watching Floyd Mayweather fight saying, I'm going to beat Floyd Mayweather one day, or I'll be as good as Floyd Mayweather. When he doesn't even know how to fight at that point. He just begins his training. And rappers psychologically are like fighters, where they condition themselves to believe they're as good as the guy that is in position at that point. So I'm constantly challenged. They come prematurely and I damage their careers, because when you compete with an artist that has a higher consistency than you, they match you up against that artist, the public, and then you just dwindle away. But I'm in more fused than the average artist because I'm more vocal. I generate more interest,
Yeah,
and I'm
definitely.
obviously
This
in
guy's always in some social
a
media
space
beef or
that they'd
something.
actually like to be in. See, when the director yells cut, none of my things go away. The big house is still there, the nice cars are there, the attractive women are there. When he yells cut to them, everything goes away. They write the life that they aspire to have, and I'm writing the struggle.
I want to ask you a last couple of points. Women and gays. What is it with rappers and women? I
Oh,
mean,
this is great.
this
You're right up my alley with this.
is this an affectation, the
No, no,
language
no.
and the
See, you know what
is
it is?
is it ironic or is it serious?
Because the song is 3 minutes before you reach an overkill point, you only have enough time to create a description. There's no time to develop cause and effect. There's no time to establish social standards or moral standards.
Hold on, what
So
is he talking about here? I'm a bit lost. Women and what?
the struggle.
I want to ask you a last couple of points. Women and gays. What is it with rappers and women? I
Oh,
mean,
this is great.
You say
this
women
You're right up my alley with this.
is this an affectation, the
No, no,
language
no.
and the
See, you know what it is?
is it ironic or is it serious?
Because the song is 3 minutes before you reach an overkill point, you only have enough time to create a description. There's no time to develop cause and effect. There's no time to establish social standards or moral standards. So when you make reference to whore, do you know what I'm talking about? The average woman is out in the night.
Yo, he looking at this guy like, yo, what do I know about all that? Yo, let me find that. Let me find that clip of his face just there. Oh man, come on now.
It's with people. You just get
It's the
into
position.
arguments with people all the time, feuds.
I
What's
end
going
up in
on?
these, then I'm gonna beat Floyd Mayweather one day.
Oh,
I'll be as good
way
as.
too far back.
Is it serious?
Because the song is 3 minutes before you reach an overkill point, you only have enough
Yeah,
time.
this is it.
Woman is out in the night.
This is it.
Woman is out in the. Do you know what I'm talking about? The
He like, yeah. He like, yeah. He like, yeah, I know what you're talking about.
average woman is out in a nightclub that hears that is not offended by it.
Right,
Because morally, she knows that's not me he's talking about.
right. And they can tell. The
Right.
people who listen can tell the
Exactly.
difference.
And if you look at female consumers of hip hop music, while these things are there, they don't have an issue with
They
it.
don't have an issue. I see. So it's people who just dip in and listen to two
Right.
words
So
again.
now, if you say
Okay.
gays,
Right. Well, the
and
gays
hip-hop
was the
music.
other one because you just not you personally, but the world of rap seems obsessed with it.
You know what it is?
It just seems to be this obsession. So it's the way rappers
14
insult
years
each
ago
other, the
and
way
they were
Rick Ross
obsessed
insults
with
you as producers of video. Your label's G Unit. He mocks Gay Unit and sort of
Yeah.
has you in a cartoon. And I mean, it just seems a very odd way to.
Wait,
It's almost
14 years ago, 50 Cent was still beefing Rick Ross. Yeah, this beef has been a long, long time. 14 years ago. These guys have been going at it for ages.
There's a kind of masculinity thing that's lying at the root of this.
What
So
it
the
is-
one fear that you all have is the fear of masculinity, of somehow losing masculinity.
Well, yeah, that's a part of it too. Like from a that perspective, to say that you were weaker would be to say that you're actually gay. When, and I know some gay guys that will whoop Rick Ross's ass. And it's not like with no problem. They're thinking the guy that is weak, that wants to actually be a woman, and then they say, "Oh, you're soft." That's his way of saying you're soft. He's not trying to disrespect gay people.
2 words. What do you fear now in your life?
I feel like I can't change, and that's that I'm misunderstood.
Bro said, I fear what I can't change. I fear what I can't change. That's very interesting. Because when you have something in the palm of your hands, when something is in your power, there's no need to be scared of it because you know that, okay, I can wake up tomorrow, I can do X, Y, Z for a certain amount of days, and I can change the scenario. You know what I mean? I can flip a positive into a negative. I can change my scenario. But when it's a thing where no matter what you do, you can't change it, I can understand why you'd feel fear. I mean, why won't you feel fear? knowing that you have no control over something that could you know, potentially impact your life in a positive or negative way, especially if it's a big thing, you know.
My confidence is mistaken for arrogance constantly. Uh, people don't actually understand my intentions a lot of the time.
Mm.
Because what I've offered is myself. So there's artists out there that can beat me at doing different things, but not at being me. So
Mm.
once the public embraces me and says 50 is cool, or I like 50 Cent, can't nobody beat me at being that.
The book is really about fear.
But yeah, no, that was an interesting one though. He actually didn't touch too much on fear, only maybe the first 2 or 3 minutes. But obviously, this interview must have been done right after he dropped his book with Robert Greene, which I actually never even knew. I never knew 50 Cent had a book with Robert Greene, but I might have to look into that book. I don't know if it's any good. Robert Greene is a good author now, but yeah, now that's the end of the video, literally. So that was a good one. We'll definitely look into 50 Cents again for sure. But for now, I'm out.